ain't gonna lie to you. The situation that we're in absolutely sucks. We can't leave our homes and we can't drive our cars anywhere. There is, however, a silver lining to these two. Number one is that we're keeping ourselves and everybody that we love safe. Very, very important. Number two, as for not being able to drive our cars, think about it this way. It allows us a reset. A reset from all the silly things that we do on the road that basically add to everybody's woes on a daily basis and then creates so much traffic that it just eats you up inside. So here now, while we're reflecting at home, we've decided to come up with a list of 10 things that we should definitely avoid from bringing back to the road once we can start driving again. I know it's a time for reflection, and maybe these 10 should be something we should really consider. 99.9% of us are guilty of this. I'm sure of it, present company even included. And the sad thing is you're not breaking just a courtesy, you're actually breaking a law. And not just in the Philippines, but worldwide. There's a reason why it's a law. Let me give you an example. Imagine walking in a mall, not minding anything else but your mobile phone. In less than 30 seconds, you're bound to bump into something or have no idea where it is that you're going. What more in an automobile that's just even crawling at 20 kilometers per hour? Dude, be selfish. Love yourself and love the people inside your automobile and put the phone down. It can wait. While I'm glad that there is a very large percentage of us that do wear our belts, there are still some passengers, especially those at the rear, that unfortunately do not. And the thing is, seat belts don't work unless everybody inside the automobile is strapped in. Allow me to explain. If you unfortunately do get into an accident, those that are not tied down eventually become projectiles when a car hits something, because the car will stop, but everything else inside the cabin won't. That thing's just gonna be bouncing around like a pinball. So to protect yourself, make sure that everybody and everything inside the car is tied down for your safety. Filipinos love free stuff, especially free stuff in stuff that they've already bought. That's a lot of stuff. But if you think about it, a horn inside the car, free. Man, do we use it. The one thing that we don't, however, are the indicators inside the car. They're free. Use them. And I'm not talking about like when you're going to change lanes that you're halfway inside the lane, that's when you're going to indicate. So if somebody bumps you, you're like, oh, my indicator was on. No. Indicate properly so that everybody on the road knows what it is that you're going to do so that they can avoid you, not so that they can cut you off. If they do, then let them be jerks, but at least you're in the right by indicating what it is that you're going to do. Also, when you're coming into an intersection, even if you're going to make a right-hand turn and you think that you're not bothering anyone, you are if the other cars on the road don't know exactly what it is that you're going to do. Be smart, be safe, use your indicators, and be courteous. Now, this is a nasty habit that we Filipinos do either on the highway or inside city streets. We follow each other so closely, like we're about to kiss the other car. Here's a tip. Pretend that car has mono. Just keep your lips to yourself, back away and stay safe. Because if that car in front of you decides to brake and you don't have enough space to stop, you guys are gonna know each other in the biblical sense and not in a good way. Keep your distance. And also, if you eventually do stop in traffic, the amount of space that you leave between each other will be great use if an emergency vehicle needs to get through. Stay away from each other. Wear a mask, social distancing. I mean, come on, we've been doing it for over 500 days. You'd think we'd be darn good at it already. This one, unfortunately, I see way too much of. An example would be inside a mall. You know for a fact that your car is not supposed to be parked there, and yet you do it anyway because you can't find a parking space. And you argue that other cars do it as well. If they're a jerk, do you have to be a jerk yourself? No. If you can't find a parking spot there, look for yet another parking spot. Yes, I know it's easier said than done, but truth be told, why are you going to be part of the problem? You should be part of the solution. Oh, and another thing, those people that still want to step out of their automobiles and reserve a parking lot for a car, yeah, don't be those people. Oh, and an added plus, anybody that leaves a shopping cart after putting their groceries in their car and then leave that shopping cart in another parking space, y'all going to hell. Oh, and don't even get me started with people who occupy 2 spots. I mean, honestly, when you park your car, how hard is it to keep it within the lines? You went to preschool, you know how to color within the lines, right? It's the same thing. Driving is a privilege. It's not a right. It's a privilege. And that makes you responsible for everything that happens on the road, including pedestrians. Now, I do understand other people out there will say, yeah, but pedestrians, especially in the Philippines, just cross whenever it is that they want. Granted, I understand. I'm not talking about that particular instance. I'm talking about the instances where they actually use pedestrian crosswalks. These are areas made specifically for them to feel safe to cross from one side of the street to the other. Like a chicken, one would say. But in this case, they own that piece of road. And if you, as a driver, respect that, then perhaps, just perhaps, they may stop crossing in areas where they shouldn't be, hence lessening the traffic around you. Think about it. Okay, so this one is in twofold. Number one are your brights or your high beams. When you're barreling down the road and you can't see anything, you put your brights on. But if there's an oncoming car, do please put your lights down on low. Just because you can't see what's ahead doesn't mean that you gotta blind the other guy to make sure that he can't see what's ahead either. It's not an eye for an eye kind of a thing. And if yet you still argue that you can't see with your normal lights on and it's gotta be on bright, well then slow down or change your lights. The second part would be your hazard lights. Look, a lot of people love to turn on their hazard light when it's raining so that quote-unquote people can see them. Sure, I understand that. But how are you going to indicate to people if you're going to be turning left or right or moving from here to there? With your hazard lights on, you can't do any of that. So keep your lights on, your hazards off, indicate, and when it's raining, slow down. Now, while I myself am actually guilty of this particular habit, and I absolutely love singing along to anything, Jack, in his case, likes to listen to K-pop mixed with Cher. But point being is that you gotta tone down on the music inside the automobile for a very good reason. See, when you can't hear anything else except the music that's blaring inside your car, you may miss out on certain things like emergency vehicles that are trying to get by. You yourself could end up becoming a cause to traffic if you don't hear these things. So please, tone it down. Now, I know a lot of people are guilty of this because I see it quite often. Whether it's in two-lane city streets or on the wide roads of the highway, there are a lot of people that hug the left lane and they feel entitled to be there simply because, well, they're not breaking the law and they think that by traveling at 100 kilometers per hour, they're okay. The left lane is overtaking only. There's a reason why it's for overtaking only. It's so that the faster cars can get through. Now, if you're thinking that you're not breaking the law by staying there, the truth is you're not the police of everybody. You're not the end-all and be-all and the answers to everybody on the road, and that it's not your job to keep everybody in line. That's why we've got highway patrol officers. Keep your butt in the right lane, drive at a respectable speed, and keep the left lane for overtaking, which is what it's for anyway. It's sad that in this day and age, there are still so many people that are guilty of throwing their trash out the window. Be it as small as a candy wrapper or a plastic bag that holds your soft drink with a straw inside it, you know what I'm talking about. Or people that go through drive-thrus, once they finish whatever it is that they're eating, they throw it outside the window. And there are other kids out there that throw their cats and siblings outside the window. Okay, that's a bit too much. But you do get what I'm getting at, right? It's just ridiculous the amount of trash that gets thrown out there that, to be honest with you, can cause traffic and accidents, because if that thing gets on somebody's windshield while they're driving and they can't see, bada bim, bada boom, forget about it. Keep your trash inside your car and dispose of it properly when you get to your destination, or better yet, when you get home. People that throw their trash outside the window are like the same people who leave carts, those grocery carts that I mentioned, in the middle of a parking spot. Y'all going to hell. You need to find Jesus. Not to mention the amount of traffic it can cause in the future because of the flooding issues that it can create. Jeez Louise. And get this, the same people that are throwing their trash outside the window are probably the same ones that are complaining about the flooding in the streets during the rainy season. Dude, you are the cause of the flooding. And there you have it, the 10 bad habits that we Filipino drivers still do to this day, with hopes that this reset that we're going through will help us dust all of this out, in hopes to live in a better world, with world peace. Thanks for watching.